Welcome to Interval. In this demo, we will carry out one end-to-end property valuation from the preparation of the terms of engagement to report delivery using the comparable method. For context, our client is looking to secure a loan in Mongolia and wants to use the property as collateral. Interval is a cloud-based solution accessible from any browser, anytime, anywhere. Let's dive in to see how the magic works. This is the home page, where valuers can quickly access all parts of the solution. Let's start by going to the Assignments page, where all assignments are stored. An assignment is a placeholder that contains one or many terms of engagement. We will refer to them as TOEs till the end of this video. Let's create a new one to start the valuation process. At this stage, only high-level information is needed, so don't bother going into too much detail. This next page presents preliminary information used to identify each TOE. Valuers can create these either from scratch or from a pre-existing template. Now, let's start our TOE. The first step is to input header information about the valuation. This allows Interval to filter out further options. In the Teams section, you can indicate who the lead valuer will be for the TOE. You can also assign specific tasks to specific team members. Let's add the target property. Here, you can use system templates to store commonly valued property types, such as Victorian houses for London or Haussmannian buildings for Paris. The property we'll value is a residential apartment. Let's add the information we need to identify the property, the scope of work, and the extent of investigations to be carried out. If a client requires valuers to provide additional services besides valuation, for instance, legal due diligence or environmental assessments, this must be detailed clearly in the scope of work. Each set of assumptions, special assumptions, and departures is recorded on a property-by-property basis to ensure full clarity and transparency. The next step is to perform a conflict of interest check. Interval's streamlined conflict of interest declaration process makes it easy for valuers to be fully transparent with clients. If necessary, valuers can also prepare informed consents. Interval uses this information to generate an informed consent form that the valuer can send to the client before starting the assignment. The Disclosure tab is a variable form that automatically adapts to the statutory requirements of the valuation. For example, if a third party will rely on the valuation. Here, the results of the valuation will be disclosed to the loan applicant. In the Delivery Detail tab, valuers can choose the format in which the valuation report will be shared. They can also add any additional information they want to include in the TOE. The Payment tab allows valuers to disclose to clients the basis on which they have set the fees. Interval allows users to choose between 3 pricing structures to allow flexible payment schedules. If the scope of work includes additional services, for example, the due diligence will carry out on one of the target properties, valuers can price these individually. We have now completed the TOE, which normally takes about 5 minutes. Let's generate the document and jump to the main event, the valuation. Once the TOE are complete, the valuer has access to the project dashboard. From here, the valuer can access everything related to the TOE. Let's take a look at the different sections of the dashboard. The Module section gives an overview of project milestones and key information, such as report deadline and the team members involved. The Summary table focuses on the target properties. The table provides information on the status of the valuation and a link to the multimedia support page. The Document section is where all assignment contractual documents are stored, such as the TOE, informed consents, and amendments. In the Property List section, valuers follow a customized and detailed path which guides them through the valuation process. The valuation process is broken down into tasks which the lead valuer can assign to specific team members. The progress tracking feature allows managers to gauge project status. Documents shared by the client, such as legal titles, can be stored and retrieved here. Users can generate investigation reports, valuation reports, and draft statements in the Outputs tab. The Signed Report tab is a repository for uploading and storing all signed valuation reports. Let's download the informed consent and the TOE and upload the signed versions to start the valuation assignment. In the Document section, valuers can make changes to the TOE through the amendment function. We've completed the contractual side of things. Let's now start the valuation process. The first step is to upload the external documents required in the TOE. The next step in the valuation process is to start the investigation task. The investigation task consists of the inspection and measurement of the property. The inspection form will vary depending on which type of inspection has been selected. Here, the valuer enters the inspection findings and notes any additional information relevant to the valuation and its intended user. In the Location section, valuers can enter details regarding the property's location and surroundings. The Building section gives valuers the opportunity to enter detailed information on the target property's building. The Property section focuses on the internal characteristics of the apartment, such as the number of rooms or the type of flooring. In the Size section, valuers can record the size based on various measurement standards. He also has to fill ancillary information fields in line with IPMS reporting requirements. The Condition Rating sections allow valuers to record the property's state of repair for each component and requires valuers to provide reasoning through picture uploads and narrative descriptions. At this stage, valuers can report on the property's potential environmental issues. Next, valuers can upload inspection pictures and videos and add descriptions to them. As inspections become more and more digitalized, Interval makes it also possible to anchor a Matterport link. Now that we've completed the investigation process, let's move on to the next step, the valuation. The valuation background page provides an overview of valuation tasks and elements. The landmark page is where the valuer provides information on any points of interest near the target property. Having gathered market evidence, the Comparable tab is where valuers select the best comparables for the valuation in question. The filter allows valuers to narrow down their comparable search based on different criteria sets, such as size or number of rooms. By clicking on a comparable, valuers gain insight into the detailed characteristics of each property to make sure the comparable is appropriate for the valuation. Valuers can select as many as 5 comparables for any given valuation. In this instance, let's choose 2 or more. The Overview button allows valuers to compare all chosen comparables with the target property. Now, let's adjust the comparables to arrive at a value conclusion for our property. Valuers can select several criteria to display in the valuation report to support their analysis. To perform the valuation, valuers must select the appropriate size basis using the size feature. This will vary based on the chosen measurement standard. Valuers must manually adjust the comparables and provide reasoning to ensure complete transparency throughout the valuation process. After adjusting the comparables, valuers can apply a different weighting to each to arrive at the final target property value. This step reviews the assumptions, special assumptions, and departures already made. This allows the valuer to review and amend previous entries and to justify amendments where relevant. The Summary tab is where valuers review the valuation results at a high level and confirm any red flags in the reported value. The last step in the valuation process is reporting, which we'll explore now. Similar to the background page, this is to remind the valuer of the property details and valuation assignment specifics. It is not uncommon for valuers to perform more than one valuation per property. If so, here is where valuers can reconcile values and justify their reasoning. Last but not least, let's explore the Reporting tab and its features. Depending on the purpose of the valuation instruction, valuers may make appropriate comments and disclosures. In our example, the purpose of valuation is secured lending, which requires to determine whether a property is a suitable form of security for mortgage lending purposes. In the Supporting Documents section, valuers can include additional information such as market research briefs or others. Once valuers have entered all the relevant information, the valuation is complete. Now, let's generate and download our valuation report using the Output section. Reports are exported as Word documents and strictly follow the Technical and Performance Standards 3 of the RICS Red Book. The draft statement report is automatically created based on the valuation report outputs. For transparency, it includes all recommended disclosures in line with RICS Red Book guidance. As we approach the end of the valuation process, there are still a couple of steps remaining. Once all the signed reports have been shared with the client, the valuer must upload them onto Interval. To conclude the assignment, valuers must indicate report delivery dates to the client. Our valuation is now complete. By following the process step by step, we have progressed from the preparation of the TOE to the delivery of the valuation report in a fraction of the time of current industry practice. Moreover, our valuation outputs are standard perfect, complying fully with IVS and RICS Red Book global guidance. With that, we come to the end of this demo. Thank you for your time.